Hello, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester. I'm the creator and executive producer of the Cooking Without Looking TV show and podcast. And today I'm here with Amanda Davis. Amanda, how are you?
Really well, thank you.
Oh, good, good. Well, as usual, what we do is we talk about yourself and a little bit about your life with blindness, and then we just then we go into our recipe. So let me know. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm 34. I live in Michigan, which is in the US. I have 4 daughters. 3 of them are teenagers. So lately my life has been exhausting. And then I have a 6-year-old. So
Wow. You're not
three
busy at
teenage,
all, Amanda.
no, not at all. No, 3 teenage girls though. You don't even know.
Oh
Like
man.
I thought it would be boys that they fought about, but it's not boys. It's makeup. Like somebody used somebody else's makeup. That's like apparently it's the biggest cardinal sin that you can do as a teenager, I guess.
I don't know. I had brothers, so I'm not sure.
Well, I thought it was gonna be boys. I thought they were gonna fight over like liking the same boy, but no, it's makeup. It's concealer and like foundation powder. And somebody wore somebody's skirt or whatever, and it's like World War III.
Oh man, but the 6-year-old, they're doing fine.
As long as she gets you know, fruit snacks and toys, she's okay.
Hey, well, that sounds good to me too. So tell us about yourself.
So I guess I don't really have a job right now. I want to do writing, something to do with that. I wrote a book on it's on Kindle, but it's not selling. But I want to do more with writing and sort of like what you're doing. Not maybe not the same thing, but like how to help people who are disabled live um like a more regular life, like cook or how to do like cleaning and stuff like that, because I don't think there's enough of that information out there. I really don't. And there needs to be
Right.
definitely more, not because I guess there's resources from like the different blindness organizations, but they're not
It's
accessible to
different.
people who can't travel. People can't go to them, that it's not as accessible. And not everybody can go to them because some people have kids or some people have jobs and they can't just go to one of these training centers. Um, or maybe people don't want to go to a training center because they have mental illness and they're like afraid to be, in an unfamiliar environment. That's also a valid concern for some people.
Sure. And also, I find that a lot of the places, and this is not disparaging any place whatsoever, but I think they're very rule oriented. And once
Yeah.
you get to a certain point in your life, I think you've learned a lot and you don't really like to learn rules.
Yeah, so then you feel kind of condescended to.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's deliberate on their part at all.
No, no, no.
But like I'm a mom, you know what I mean? Like I'm a mother. I don't want to go there and be like told when I have to be in my room.
Right, exactly. Or like how to do things. Like we always say, like there's no such thing as right or wrong. Whatever is right is what is good for you. What works
Yeah,
for
as long as
you.
you're not harming anybody, then you should
You're not setting people on fire or anything.
yeah, it was a whole battle when I was in school. It's an example of what you're saying because I wanted to, I can see a little bit, so I could like write a little bit, like my name or something. And it was a whole thing about how I'm holding my pencil. It was a whole entire thing where
Oh
people were
my gosh.
always, and I didn't want, how, I don't know if you know, but you're supposed to hold a pencil like in your kind of like your fingers, like a pincer. But that's just not comfortable for me. It doesn't feel like a natural hand position. And I just didn't want to do it. And I did not understand why it mattered because I'm
As long as you
still,
get it done.
yeah, I'm writing the stuff. I don't see why it matters how I hold my pencil. But it was such a thing. Really,
And there's your dog.
I have a dog. Yeah, he's not like a guide dog or anything. He's
He's
just
not
a
a
dog.
guide dog.
No, he's just my ESA. But I think he sees a squirrel. but it was a whole thing about how I held my pencil, and they wanted me to care about how I held it. So it was like constant correction. And like, I did not want to do it their way because I didn't see why it mattered at all, because I'm still getting the exact same thing done.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. And maybe it had something to do with your vision, how it was more comfortable for you to do it in a different way.
Maybe, I don't know, because it's just because I don't know if it's because I braille or what it is, but like putting my fingers in that position. Really? Sorry. Oh, it is a squirrel. It's a really cute squirrel. Oh my goodness. It's like on my patio and it's like running around. I think it knows that he can't get it. So it's like teasing him, I think. It's like running towards the door.
It's
And then
going
it's like,
haha.
I think it knows that he can't get it. And it's really enjoying the fact.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Well,
I think
how much sight do you have, Amanda?
not a lot, but this squirrel was coming right up to the glass. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell. I can't see well enough to like read. Even if it's large print, like it has to be super, super large print to where it like it's not practical. So I don't rely on my sight for stuff because it's not. I mean, I have a little, so I'm not gonna run into stuff, but I don't have enough so that I can read or, use it for practical purposes.
Have you been blind all of your life?
Since I was like a few months old, so pretty much because I don't remember, obviously, being a baby.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? I was thinking when your dog was barking, does that ever like frighten you a little? Because like maybe you can't see why the dog is barking?
So I have PTSD, so I hate when he barks. I will go to the door and make sure nobody's there. And if nobody's there, then I just ignore it because you know what I mean? If nobody's at my house, he isn't barking for any important reason, but I definitely don't love it. I wish he wouldn't. But this squirrel, I think, was loving it because I think it was deliberate.
Yeah. He was just goading him on.
Yeah, because he was going to the glass and just being like right in front of the glass, like not scared or anything. Like, haha, dog, you can't get me.
I'm not doing anything. Well, tell us about your cooking because you and I were just going back and forth on Messenger with different things, and I thought you had like a really amazing thought about about how you do things, how you go about doing things and baking things, and your theory of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so being a lot of people with disabilities are lower income because society being what it is, like finding jobs is harder. It's just a whole thing. So a lot of us have like less resources and we have to make those count, right? So my cooking is all about how I can find a cheap product that might not be that good, but you can like add a few things to elevate it into where it's something better, or using the box mixes as a shortcut for something, or food that you would regularly get at food banks. So like, for example, mashed potato flakes, oatmeal, stuffing mix. Like, how do you make that into a meal? Because you don't just want to have a bowl of oatmeal, or you don't just want to have a bowl of stuffing. You
No,
want to use that
the
to make
stuffing
something
maybe.
else.
The stuffing maybe is a whole thing, but not the oatmeal. No.
So stuffing goes in meatloaf. It makes a really good meatloaf.
Tell us about that.
You just put it in there. So it's like I would use 2 pounds of ground beef because otherwise you're going to have too much stuffing, or just use half the stuffing and save the rest. But say like 2 pounds of ground beef and then just a box of the stuffing mix. And then you just bake it for like an hour at 350, and it makes a really good meatloaf because the stuffing like binds it together, and it also has already the seasonings in it.
Right. Like really good seasonings like sage and thyme and all that sort of
Right.
thing.
So it's just stuffing and ground beef, and you don't have to add like a million ingredients like you normally would for for your meatloaf. And obviously you want to add an egg. You also want to add an egg. I forgot.
And you had the cookies. You were with the cake mix. That was like a cool idea.
Yeah, you can make any cake mix into cookies. literally, there's all you do is just put any cake mix in the entire world you can use, like the box ones,
Right.
and you just add 5 beaten eggs and 5 teaspoons of melted butter. So you beat the eggs first, and then you add the eggs and the butter, and you can add chopped nuts, you could add chocolate chips, peanut butter chips, whatever you want to that, shredded coconut, whatever. And then you just put it in a 9x7 pan, one of the smaller pans, and you just bake it for it's 350 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And then when it comes out, you just cut it into squares. And you can
Nice.
play with the flavors. You can, use different combinations of cake mix and chips and stuff.
Oh yeah, I was thinking strawberries too, like a strawberry
Yep.
cookie.
Anything you want to do like that. All that matters is your eggs and your butter. The other stuff is just extra. But if you get the eggs and the butter right, then the other stuff you add is just kind of extra. I wouldn't add peanut butter though, because it makes them weird.
Like sort of goopy, huh?
Yeah, you can add the peanut butter chips that you can buy in the baking aisle, but I wouldn't add just like actual peanut butter itself.
Yeah, it'd be a little clumpy.
I think you could do it, but I would have to play with like the time and temp to know how, and I haven't done that yet.
Now, since you've got all the kids, how are the kids liking this? Do they help you out cooking, baking, or no?
I don't really need it. Like, I mean, if they want to be in the kitchen with me, but I don't. My cooking style is very like easy because I'm not trying to spend my entire day babysitting my stove. So I can just
I like that.
pop things in the oven. My favorite recipes are the ones that I can abandon as soon as they hit the oven or the crock pot. I can completely abandon them until they're done. I don't
You
want to have to
know,
go back and mess with it.
you know what? I love that. And I always make the joke that I'm too lazy to like just stand there and watch my food cook. And so I oftentimes like your oven baked chicken, or oven fried chicken, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. I think that's an amazing idea. I make many of my things in the oven because, as you say, it's safer and you don't have to keep watching. You don't have to, as you so perfectly say, you don't have to babysit your food.
No, I don't like doing that because, well, I just don't, to be honest. Like there's no real actual reason. But it's also safer, like you said. Like, for example, I don't want to stand over a pan of like hot, like bubbling grease, like popping everywhere. I don't think it's like the safest thing in the world. I'm not I'm
No.
not saying blind people cannot fry stuff, because like if we want to do that, we can do that. I just don't personally choose to do that.
Right, right. And I am not blind, and that's something that I don't like doing either, like just sitting there watching the chicken fry or a steak fry or whatever, I just like putting in. I find the fastest way to allow them to cook themselves. I allow my food to be independent.
Yeah, well, they do have a grease shield too. So like if you want to fry, like as a blind person, there's like a thing you can put over your pan. It's like a mesh thing, so
Sure.
the grease can't splat up and hit you. But I just don't want to, because you have to care about when you flip it, and you have to care about too much. Like, is it done yet? Do I need to check the temp? Whereas in the oven, if you set it for the right temp, your food is going to be done in the middle.
There's way too much thinking involved.
Yeah, and lots of like error, like margin for error, because people's stoves have like different temps, and like sometimes your burners are uneven. Whereas if you put it in the oven, if you get the temp right, it will be done in the middle.
Well,
Like you don't
that's
have to
true
worry about it.
too. That's true too. And you know what? People freak out over flipping omelets, but I always just put my omelet in a fry pan and put that in the oven and cook, and it allows it, and you don't have to flip it.
Yeah, if you have an oven safe pan,
Yeah.
you
Oh
definitely have
yeah.
to make sure that your pan is oven safe. Not all pans are oven safe.
Right, right. Well, I use a fry pan, so it's like a heavy metal and
Like cast iron, probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cast iron can go in the oven.
Yeah, I can go anywhere. You can just throw that in the fire and it'd be
I
fine.
believe copper pans can go in the oven, and so can ceramic pans, but nothing with nonstick can go in your oven.
You know, the ceramic pans, Amanda, sort of frighten me because it feels too much like glass. And so I don't usually even try that. But what do you have any like do you have any stories that you might give you know, throughout your life that maybe are funny or thought provoking about your blindness?
I wouldn't say thought provoking or funny, but like sometimes the way people react to you as a blind person, like out in the world, sometimes it's very weird. So like people will, when you're out, sometimes talk really loudly and slowly to you. Um, so like the other day I was at the doctor's office and it was not my appointment. I was there with somebody else and we were leaving and this lady just goes, "Hi, are you having a good day?"
Oh
And
no.
like, and I was ignoring her because I thought she was talking to like some little kid that I couldn't see. I did not, I completely didn't answer. So then the person that I was with like got, you know, tapped my shoulder and said, "She's talking to you." And I just looked at him deadpan and said, "No, she's not. People don't talk to me like that." And I just left because
Oh my gosh.
people don't talk to me like that.
That's a
I don't
little
like that.
weird.
Yeah, well, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like
Well, it's
one time I was
condescending.
no, well, I was working once and this lady goes, "Hi, are we being a good helper today?" And I
Oh
just looked
my
at her
God.
like, "What?"
Oh, are we being what were you 5 or she thought you were 5 or something?
Even talk to my 5-year-old like that.
No. No. Well, tell us about your chicken. It's going to be the cooking without looking recipe of the day. It's all set to roll. So tell us
Sweet.
about it.
So, you can do it with chicken and you can also do it with pork chops or with like a thin cut like a thin steak, like you know, for that I don't know if you've had it, it's called country fried steak and it's like a breaded steak and you
Yeah,
put
yeah,
like
yeah.
gravy on it. You can do the same technique for different meat. I'm going to talk about chicken though, and other meat is going to have a different cook time and temp. So what you do is you just Google cook time for breaded pork chops or breaded steak because I only know the one for chicken. I haven't done the other ones in a while. But for chicken, you take, and I prefer boneless chicken thighs. That's my favorite. Because dark meat is where all the flavor is in your chicken, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
you take it and you slather it with mayonnaise because mayonnaise is just eggs and fat and a little bit of acid, but it's basically egg
And
and
the
fat.
acid actually is what makes it more tender.
Yeah, so you slather it in mayonnaise and then you just roll it in your preferred breading. I use seasoned breadcrumbs. I may or may not add a little bit of like cheese to them. Either way, it doesn't really affect like the cooking instructions.
Sure.
You can play with it a little bit. You can add different seasonings. You can add different stuff to the breading if you want, and you just put it on a cookie sheet, and you just bake it for 45 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit, which is right around 180 Celsius.
Yes, yes.
No, it's not 180. Why did I say that? Hold on. I wrote it down. Do not believe anything I tell you.
350 is
No,
degrees
425.
Celsius. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
350, yeah.
it's 220 Celsius. Sorry.
220 Celsius. Okay. Okay.
I'm so used to telling people 180 because almost everything cooks at 350.
Right. Exactly. You know, if you have to guess, it's okay, it's 350 for half an hour. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no, so it's not 350. So do
Right.
not think that. It's 425, all right? And it's 220 Celsius. There you go.
There you
But yeah, so 45 minutes and it's done. And it's the breading stays on because that's my biggest issue with trying to do breaded chicken is the breading will fall off and it makes me
oh,
mad.
oh, you know, Amanda, I just learned how to do that because I learned it from my daughter. I was frying it in the fry pan, but then I stopped doing it because, as you say, very frustrating, the breading falls off. And she goes, "Mom, you have to be more patient. You have to just leave it there for like 8 or 9 minutes on one side." And I'm like, I have to just stand there and look at it. And so I totally walk myself away. And that's the thing that works, Amanda. You leave it on like 8 to 9 minutes on one side. You fry it on one side, then you pop it over for 8 to 9 minutes on the other. And believe it or not, take it from me, the queen of the breading that falls off. It worked.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have time for all that. Like, I just do not. I just put it in the oven and it comes out the same.
Right, right. Exactly. It does. But just in case, I was telling you because I know what you were going through. The breading just
Yeah,
is
it does. It
flying
falls
off.
off. And then um it's like super annoying because you went to all that time because you do like the whole thing because people tell you that you have to do like 2 layers of breading and like egg and like this and that. And then it just falls off. So it's like, nah,
Oh
I
yeah.
went through all that for nothing.
So disappointing.
And
Yes.
then I
Yes.
get mad.
I know. But so tell us, what kind of thoughts do you have for people? What do you want people to know about people who are blind or visually impaired?
Just that like a lot of the time we will communicate with you our needs. Like if we need help, we will absolutely tell you. We will say, hey, can you help me with X? And if you ask us if we need help with X and we say no, thank you, like you don't have to be offended about it because people will get offended that you don't want their help.
Right, right. Like, how dare you?
Right. Well, because people want to help you for their own feel good, which is perfectly fine. Like everybody likes to feel good and everybody likes to feel useful. And I do
Also, we're all
believe,
trained. We're all trained from the time we were little, to help someone who looks like they
yeah, yep.
need help. Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes people will get really offended. They'll say, "Well, I was just trying to help," and it's like, okay, but I don't need it though. But thank you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, if people want to reach out to you, Amanda, how do they find you?
I have a Facebook. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it.
I know.
uh, my Facebook is Amanda Louise Davis, and I don't know if you can see a little bit, but I have on a green dress. And
It's very pretty, by the way. It looks very nice on you.
oh, thank you. I got it at Goodwill for like $3, so I can't
Yeah.
complain.
Oh, I know, I know. It's yeah, that's my favorite place too. I love going there because it's like recycling.
Yeah, I mean, I have my opinions about them, which are irrelevant, but I'm poor, so I do go there.
Ah, well, you don't have to look for it. It doesn't matter one way or the other. It's just like for me, it's like a scavenger hunt, and
Yeah, I
it's
like any
pretty
thrift
cool.
store. Any thrift store. I will go to it. Like I'm here for yard sales. I'm here for any of that.
It's fun. It's just fun. And so, okay, so your Facebook page, and are there any other ways you can reach you, Amanda?
Um, I mean, my email, but that's it.
If
Which,
whatever you want to give, you don't have to.
yeah, my email, I don't mind if people, I mean, I can just not respond if I don't want to, so that's fine. My email is davis-amanda@comcast.net.
Ah, okay. And any parting thoughts you have for our audience?
I mean, people should just try to like be creative. I will say that I have learned a lot from Googling things to do with X. So things to do with mashed potato flakes, things to do with jello, because people are super creative, even if you're not. And people are here for it. People will post the weirdest ideas online that you may or may not want to try, but like you don't have to just make the obvious with your ingredient. So like if you have a box of mashed potato flakes, like you don't have to make mashed potatoes. You can make like a million other things with those.
I've seen people make cookies with those.
I don't know about all that.
They
I
put the
don't
they put
know.
the they put the powdered sugar in it and they mix it up and they bake it in the egg and everything. Yeah,
I will
I
look
know.
that up. It sounds a little bit horrifying, but it might not be.
You,
I
you
will
know,
look it up.
people, as you say, people will try anything, do anything. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for changing the way we see blindness. And again, I'm Renee Rantmeester from the Cooking Without Looking TV show. If you want to reach out to us, it's www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com. gmail.com. We have a YouTube page as well, the Cooking Without Looking YouTube page. And you can get our podcast anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And it's also Alexa enabled. So anything that you have that's Alexa enabled, you will be able to just say Cooking Without Looking and it takes you there. So again, thank you very much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.